It's one of the most profoundly complex and sensitive issues of our time, and one that the Government of Canada is confronting head on: a person's right to die. There are changes coming to our assisted death legislation, and Canadians have been invited to weigh in. You can fill out an online questionnaire that asks for your opinion on various criteria of the Medical Assistance in Dying law, or MAID. Questions relating to capacity. For example, if a person has requested and been found eligible for MAID, but days before the procedure loses the mental capacity to make the decision, should they still be able to get the procedure? Questions relating to age. Right now you have to be 18 to request access to MAID. Should a so-called mature minor be allowed to apply? One component of the legislation that will for sure be changed is the restriction that a person's death must be reasonably foreseeable. A Quebec court found that was too restrictive and unconstitutional.
I stopped keeping track at about 100 assessments.
Dr. Chantal Perreault is a MAID provider and has assisted in dozens of deaths. She feels this is an excellent opportunity for the government to expand access to a humane practice that lessens someone's suffering.
People often ask me if it's depressing, and it's not depressing. I thought it might be, but it's not at all, because these patients are happy, they are content, they are firm in their conviction, and they are ready to die.
We had a party. The last thing Jack consumed was a very stiff gin and tonic, and we had some laughs.
Celia Chandler's husband, Jack Sikorsky, died by a doctor's lethal injection in 2018 after suffering from an aggressive lung cancer that had spread to his brain. Her husband's death was very peaceful, but Celia would like the legislation to be changed to be less restrictive when it comes to capacity. Her husband made the decision to have the procedure sooner than he would have liked, out of fear he would lose capacity to consent and be declared ineligible.
It was scary for us all that might not happen for him. My concern was that if he had waited, he was going to lose the right to die on his terms as he'd lived, right? Yeah. And that's one of the limitations with the current legislation, is that you can't make an advance directive.
Of course, there's a very careful line that has to be navigated so that existing safeguards are not eroded. Carrie Bowman is a bioethicist at U of T who recognizes the legislation needs to be updated, but has concerns about expanding access too much, that instead of caring for our sick and frail citizens, we may become a society that looks too quickly to assisted dying.
I am supportive of medical assistance in dying without question, but I fear that if the definitions become too broad, we are not going to be protecting the vulnerable. And I think it's a serious consideration.
Canadians have 2 weeks until January 27th to fill out the online questionnaire. Then, according to the Quebec court ruling, the government has until March 11th to draft new legislation.